Welcome to the Vault Studios NFL podcast, an Australian twist on all things NFL. The boys are cracking into a nice cold beer from Burnley Brewing. Let's join them.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, JA, and I am joined on another week by my good friend, Richie Garraway. How are you, buddy?
Mate, how are you?
I'm very well. I cannot complain. The Cowboys won this week. The Bucks won this week. What's there to be upset about?
Exactly. Football's good.
Yeah.
We had some good championship games in the college football as well. Got the playoff set. So, yes.
Will Georgia ever beat Alabama?
Well, they're probably going to get another chance because I can't see Cincinnati beating Alabama. So, all Georgia need to do is knock off Michigan, and they'll meet again in the national championship game. So I guess we'll find out.
There you go. And if you want to catch up on all this, I would listen to the boys from College Football Down Under. I imagine they are recording very shortly, so their podcast will be out tomorrow as well. So make sure you tune into that. Also, thanks to our friends at Burnley Brewing. Head in there if you're in Melbourne. You want to go have a good feed and a couple of beers, head into Burnley Brewing. Dylan from Dark Horse Electrics. You need any electrical work done, he is your man. Make sure you look him up. US Sports Gear. You want anything for the upcoming gridiron season in Australia. College helmets. Hit up www.ussportsgear.com.au. And last but certainly not least, our good friends at J&D's Brakes, or Down Under Brakes. I always get it wrong. This is our Patreon helmet for the month. It is a absolute ripper Marshall Falk. This is for last month, which brings me to the start of the show, which we're going to do our wheel spin here. So obviously, as we always do it, 2 spins, first selection and second selection. There is the helmet up for grabs and the box of beer from Burnley Brewing. Let's just start. Let's just do it. Let's just get straight into it. Spin it up. Oh, I love this. This is so exciting. Who have we got? Oh, not again. The big man, Junior. Aaron Smith. He will get first selection this week. Now, I still have his Juju Smith-Schuster jersey, which I need to get over to him as well. I need to drop that off to him. So, who knows? He'll definitely be getting 2 items. Who knows which one he'll get? But let's take him out and then go to our second choice. Paul. One of our long time listeners, Paul Egan. So I'll be in contact with both you guys. Thank you very much, boys, for your support. I'll stop sharing that now. Don't you like little applause that you get at the end of that as well, Richie?
It's a good little app, that one.
It's a great one. And then I've got a pretty good announcement for the next month, everybody. This is next month's Patreon. Got the plastic there to protect it. That is a JJ Watt Chrome Texans helmet. It is an absolute beauty. Very rare to get the signatures on the minis at the very front. They're normally on the side. So very rare to get it on the front, which I actually think is a really cool feature. You could display it forward instead of sideways. So a little bit different, but that's next month's Patreon. So $10 a month. First prize, second prize, 2 out of, I think there's only 20 people in it now, 18 people in it. So out of those 18 people, you got a chance to win 2. And if we get up to over 20, it'll go to 2 items a month. And thank you very much to our good friends at J&D's Down Under Brakes for providing the helmets. They're absolute class act. They also got me, it's my birthday tomorrow, Richie. I didn't want to bring it up here, but I got a birthday present, which my beautiful wife sourced for me, which I sourced for her, to get for me. I've got my first Micah Parsons helmet on its way from the States. So the guy that bagged the pick in the draft, I'm fully converted, got him on the way.
Destroyed the pick on the draft
Cowboys mini helmet. I didn't hate the player. I just hated the pick. I didn't like the pick. But he's turned out to be a very good player. Very good pick by the Cowboys. I should trust them more. They do a lot of things poorly, but draft is not one of them over the last few years. So, but yeah, that's it for all the intros. Richie, let's get into the upset of the week. Get us in.
Well, it's pretty hard to go past the Lions 29, Vikings 27. It came down to a last-second throw from Jared Goff, the much-maligned Jared Goff, getting the touchdown with no time left on the clock. JA, personally, I loved it. I couldn't be happier for the Lions. I hate seeing a team go 0-16 or potentially 17. Jesus, that would have been even worse. Loved it. Couldn't have been happier for him.
I was the same, and I thought Goff is so up and down, and he makes me feel like if they could put some really good talent around him, I think he could get by, like similar to what he did in.
Yeah,
He
the
went
Rams.
to a Super Bowl. Like he's
Yeah.
not terrible. I just think he needs talent around him. That's on the Lions. They just don't have a lot of talent. DeAndre Swift wasn't in this game, which made it harder. The funny thing was, I gave it to Dan Campbell up by 2 points, 4th and 2 at their own 25. They went for it, didn't get it, and I thought that is the dumbest thing you can ever do. It turned out it was actually, secretly, it was a really good move because they didn't get it, but it allowed. Say they drive the field right, take another minute off the clock, and then punt the ball back to the so they punt the ball back instead of going for it, and then the Vikings take a minute and a half to drive the field into field goal range, and then they could have kicked the field goal as time expired. I think that's what his mindset was if I give this back to them, they're gonna score. So if I give it to them closer, they'll score quicker, which will allow me time to get the ball back. I don't know if that was his mindset, but that's how it worked. It kind of paid off for him.
I think it was all but confirmed. I think
is that what he actually did
in his press conference? If not, I've heard that many people make comments on it that was pretty much the move. So they figured by one going for it and getting it, and they're probably going to win. If they don't get it, then they're going to score pretty quick because it's a pretty short field.
Yeah,
you get it back and you have a chance, which is
it wasn't the dumbest thing he ever did. It actually wasn't the dumbest thing he ever did. It really, if that was his mindset, then he's playing chess and I'm playing checkers out there because I thought he was an idiot. So that was really well. It was well played by him. He convinced me. But if on the other side of this, though, is Zimmer already fired by the time people listen to this podcast?
I don't think he'll be fired by the time people listen, but his hot seat is so red hot. Carroll probably did enough today to save himself to allow him to retire at the end of this year. But Zimmer is in big trouble. And
I agree.
He's a good coach, but he and his front office put all their eggs in the Kirk Cousins basket when they paid the King's ransom to get him. Like, I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I heard he's going to be the highest paid player ever. That's insane.
It'll be up there. Modern quarterbacks are obviously guys like Mahomes and Prescott and guys are going to catch him, but his earnings now is insane.
Well, he had those 2 massive years on the franchise tag at Washington, and then he got a huge deal. Anyway, I'm sure cash money, it's been monstrous.
He has earned $190 million.
Yeah. Who'd have more? Brady? Only because he's played for so long?
This actually has his career earnings by the year. God, I love all these sport track websites and stuff.
Yeah, Sport Track is great.
They are so good.
So he bet on him
$390, $480,000, $570,000, $660,000 for his first 4 years in the NFL. Because he was a 4th round pick or something like that. So 3rd round pick. 2016, he gets franchise tagged, $19 million straight up. 2017, franchise tagged, $24 million basically. Then he gets the big contract from the Vikings, and since then he has earned $26 million in 18, $28 million in 19. Then he gets his extension, goes up to $40 million in 2020. And then obviously that was a big bonus. He got a big bonus, and he got a $28 million incentive. So they obviously reworked his contract, all that sort of stuff. And then $30 million signing bonus. That was that. And then this year he's earning $21 million. Then he's on track in 2022 to earn $35 million in base salary.
Yeah. So there you go.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that. The long and the short of it, though, is that front office and Zimmer hitched their wagon onto him. And he's kind of just, I don't know, he's just not quite good enough. Now, since he's been there and Zimmer's been there, they've always been competitive, but they're not going deep in the playoffs. This year, I mean, this is a bad loss.
They had a few players out. They were missing their 2 starting linebackers, which hurts, but everyone's got one out at the moment.
But everyone, exactly.
The Lions are playing undrafted rookies at corner, and you can't
exactly. So, whilst I'm sympathetic to that, I think you've still got the bulk of that roster under contract.
Yeah.
The best players, I mean. So you can bring in somebody new and they're going to have a good base to start from and it might re-energize them. I am not saying Zimmer's bad. If he was my team's head coach, I'd be cool with it. Like, he's not a bad coach, don't get me wrong.
He's
But I
in that
think
old
his run
school
there
variety.
might be done.
He's in that old school coach era though, like Pete Carroll, Zimmer. Trying to think of other guys like the Schottenheimer, the older Schottenheimer, who's actually passed away now. But the you've got to run the ball, like you've got to run the ball. Actually, and you know how much I hate analytics, but I'm going to use it to defend my point here. Analytics show you don't have to run the ball to be a good offense now. Efficiency isn't all about running the football. So actually, analytics is the wrong word. Efficiency isn't based on running the ball now. It's about making the right play for what defenses give you. That's what offense is all about in the NFL now. That's why quarterbacks have to be so smart, because they have to get up to the line, look at what they're getting, and go, okay, I don't want to run into this. Where in the past, the Pete Carrolls, the Zimmers, I don't care what their front is, run into it. You run it. We're going to run the ball. We're going to establish the run. Our O-line is going to beat them. That's what we're going to do. And it just doesn't work anymore. That style of football doesn't work. Defenders are too athletic now. They're too good now. You have to change. You have to attack them at their weakness. Defensive line is so much easier to play than it used to be. So much easier. And they're more athletic. Simple as that. So
yeah,
it doesn't work. And Zimmer's in that era. And I think that's in the end what's going to be his downfall.
Well, he's 65.
Mm-hmm.
And his son, who's on the staff, is 37.
Yeah, he could go in DC
his
somewhere.
Son's age.
He could go in DC. Like he'll go and get a DC
Easily
somewhere. Yeah,
if that's what he wants to do.
Fine. Yeah, if he wants to.
I do think at the end of this year, this could be it for him. I've got no idea how long's left on his contract, but yeah, his seat is hot.
I just want to say something about Dan Campbell as well, because start of the year we gave him a lot of crap, and then we've both turned around on him because I thought he was full of shit, but he's not. That is genuinely him. And you'd think his first win in the NFL, right? You think he'd come out and make it about his team. No, the opposite. He comes out with the game ball and dedicates it to the terrible shooting in Oxford. Jared Goff came out and said the same. No one's making Dan Campbell do that. That's him. That's himself. No. And to come out and be like, okay, I'm not going to use this moment for me. I'm going to use it for, he could come and be like, yes, how good am I? Finally, I got to win. But he comes out and goes, he uses that platform for something good, which it just made me like him even more. Everything that guy does, the more and more he does it, the more I like him. I just can't help it. I would love to play for a guy like that. Honestly, that is something I'm all about. So well done to him. Well done to the Lions. I said I was rooting for them. I was sitting there when the Vikings got that touchdown. I was thinking, please don't lose this game. Like, don't do this to me. And then they just methodically just went down. I'm thinking, why isn't he taking shots? Why isn't he taking shots? But turned out Amon Ra St. Brown, who is the brother of Amikius St. Brown from the Packers. Did you know that?
I figured they'd have to be related with a name like that.
Yeah, Equiminius, I think his name is at the Packers. Some classy names there, but made a great first touchdown of his career. What a time to get it. And I said, I was rap for the Lions, rap for Lions fans. No one deserves to not win a game. No one deserves it. So I was really, really rap for them. I think that's it for the game. Where are we moving on to now?
We're moving on to a segment of the week. It is Do You Trust Me? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. The other spin you could put on this is, imagine this is your girlfriend or boyfriend if you are listening. And do you trust this person? If you're dating this person, you're like, you know what? I'm not sure. Or are you all in? I'm all over this person. So as we said, pretty
I like that analogy.
Self-explanatory.
Well, you make me think of this, Rich. Because when we were chatting, as we always do, we're chatting during the games, and I actually had in here around the grounds. We're just going to go around and have a look at a few of the games and that, because I couldn't think of a segment. And then we were talking about like who's the best team in the AFC, do you actually trust anyone? That's when I thought this is a great segment for the show. Do you trust me? I thought we could look at a team and work out if we trust them or not.
All right, Jay. So you're out at a bar. You look to the other end, and Miami's giving you a wink. Do you trust her?
I don't fucking trust them. I don't trust them one bit. Now, have they kicked the shit out of some crappy teams? Yeah, and I like it. I like what they're doing, and they're 5 games in a row. They're 6 from their last. No, they won their first game of the season, then lost 7, and they're now 6-7. Now they're still 6-7. Like it's a very uphill battle for them. But in this year's NFL, they've definitely got a chance. Like there's a chance, but I don't trust them. Tua's month has been. He has the highest completion percentage in the history of quarterbacks for the month of November. Now, it's only 1 month, I know, but he's been better. But then I've watched Miami's games. So I've been intrigued by them. And don't think he's been that good. So that's an even more of a worry for me. Like, he looks real pretty. He's out at the bar and he looks gorgeous. And then you take him home and the next morning he takes his makeup off. And then you're like, oh shit. This is one of those TikToks where they've tricked me. So that's what I think Tua is doing to us right now. And I don't trust Miami at all.
I've enjoyed a new social media since Instagram. I don't know what I'm talking about.
TikTok, way of the world.
But I do, I'm inclined to agree with you. And look, I listen to a Miami heavy podcast in the Dan Leverdard show. So they were talking about him all the time. And they were talking, hey, we've had some crummy games in that 7-game losing streak. And there were a couple in there they should have won. But they knew they were coming to the weakest part of their schedule. And it is not done because next week they've got the Jets again, who were god-awful today. So they should beat them.
Yeah.
Then they've got the Saints, who haven't exactly been setting the world on fire.
Saints are in real trouble.
And then they've got the Titans, who, let's face it, they're not traveling as well as they had either. And then they finish the year with the Patriots. By then, Patriots might not even need it. So who knows what's going to happen here? I don't know if I particularly trust them either. But if they, by some miracle, squeak into the playoffs and you're, I don't know, the Chargers and you have to host them, the Chargers probably won't win the division, but you know what I mean? I don't really want to see the Dolphins, to be honest, because they're going to come in hot. And that's the last thing you want to see. But do I trust them? Hell no.
No, don't trust them.
Do you ask me the next one? Or you want me to keep going?
You. No, I'll ask.
All right.
Do you trust the Arizona Cardinals?
Put a ring on her. Could not trust them more.
You want to go to Cliff Kingsbury's beautiful holiday home with him, do you?
Or his actual home.
Whichever one.
They, it's clearly shown that it's not just quarterback because they throw Colt McCoy in there. Also, I don't think we've mentioned this yet. Did you even know Colt McCoy was in the league? I had no idea. I thought he was a coach somewhere. I couldn't stop laughing when I thought
he was at Washington last year. I remember that because he played a couple of games, I think.
Well, that I remembered.
Yeah. They're always
I see him in a Cardinals uniform. Either way.
There's a McCown in the
He
league
stepped
somewhere
in.
too as well, I'm sure.
There's probably 3 of them. He stepped in, got it done. So I really do genuinely think that this team is built to win. Some of the good players aren't even playing that well. Like DeAndre Hopkins has been pretty quiet last few weeks. And
been injured, and then today he didn't play a lot of snaps but scored a touchdown. He looked okay today in limited snaps, but
let's hope so. But their defense is good. Like they're a good team, and you're gonna have to go there. It looks like they're gonna win that division because the rest of the division keeps beating each other. So they're probably on their way to hosting potentially 2 playoff games.
Yeah. I trust them. I think they're really good. I didn't at first, but I think they're very good. I think they can go deep.
Move on to the next one. JA, do you trust the Packers?
Yes. Yep, I really do trust them. Their defense is playing better than it's played for a few years. They generate turnovers. They don't give up big plays. They're kind of a bend, don't break, and they'll smother you in the red zone. I like them. And then on the other side, you've got Aaron Rodgers. And they're going to get better. They still haven't got David Bakhtiari back yet, who is one of the top 5 left tackles in the league comfortably. He's still not playing yet. They haven't had to rush him back because they've been winning. So they haven't been rushing guys back. They'll get Zadarius Smith back as well in the next few weeks. So they're going to get stronger as a team. I trust them a lot. I think Aaron Jones is, I thought Aaron Jones was in real trouble when he got hurt, but he's back playing now. AJ Dillon looks like a really good change of pace guy. I still think it was an awful draft pick, but in terms of what he's doing for that offense, he's certainly helping them. So I think that team's better than it's been the last couple of years. They're very well coached. They're winning in different ways. They're not just relying on Aaron Rodgers every week to get it done for them. And I think come playoffs, I really feel like it's an Arizona Green Bay championship. I just really think they're both so consistent, and I think they'll get it done at home in the playoffs.
So I'd argue with it. I think already we've seen this year, I think America, especially the north half of it, is getting cold early. We saw snow games last week. There's some really cold games this week. It's kind of headed that way, and you got to go on the road up there. When you consider the other good teams in the NFC right now, Arizona, Tampa, and potentially your Cowboys, 2 dome teams, and a Florida team. Nobody wants to go up there in the middle of January and play. So they're on the right trajectory to be
They've
the
got the
number one
head-to-head
seed.
too. They got the head-to-head on the Cardinals, which is massive, massive.
Yeah. So they're every chance now to host. So I don't want to go up there. So you have to trust them. I mean, I think they got the
Certainly trust them.
Bears. Have they got the Bears next week? I think.
I think so.
Quickly look at it. Yeah. So they got 5 games remaining. So they had their bye this week. So they got the Bears, the Ravens, and I don't know if I
They get
trust
the
them.
Lions again, I'm pretty sure, and I think they got the Vikings again too.
They do.
No,
They're their last 2 games, and they got the
Lions,
Browns
Vikings.
squeezed in there as well. So they got 3 divisional games: the Ravens and the Browns.
And they should win all 3 of those divisional games. I know it won't happen. They'll probably go 2. If you go off common sense, they'll probably go 2-1 in the division. They probably will. And then I think they'll beat the Browns in Green Bay.
Good question.
I think they finish.
It's a Lambeau. It's a Lambeau.
I think they finish 13-4. I think they only lose 1 more game. Genuinely, I think they're going to be very good. Certainly
good enough to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got one for you. Do you trust? Now, I've already forked them, so you can't even ask. I don't fucking trust them as far as I can throw them. I don't trust them as much as Dan Schneider's emails. Do you trust the Washington football team?
No. Look, they squeaked by with a good road win this week.
Quietly.
Yeah, agreed. But people who listen to this, they totally agree with me. It must just piss them off every week I say it. Those East Coast to West Coast and vice versa trips, they're so hard. If anyone hasn't flown it, especially there's certain parts of the country that are so wide. It's like flying from Perth to Brisbane. It takes a bloody long time.
Big
and then you got to turn around and play in a time zone that you're not normally on.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Long road trips are bloody hard to get a win, especially when they're out of division like this, NFC and AFC. You only see this team once every 4 years. They're difficult. They're really difficult to go on the road and get a win. So kudos to them. But as far as trusting them, I mean,
they're playing better.
6.
I will give them that.
Better. They beat my Bucks, but next week they got your Cowboys. Then they got
that's
the Eagles.
game.
Cowboys.
That's the game that decides. That's the guy that changes everything next week.
But that's not it. It goes It goes Cowboys, Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles, and then Giants. Now they'll beat the Giants because they're turning into a dumpster fire. But that's all those divisional games. All back
I know.
Back.
I think next week is what decides if the Washington football team make the playoffs or not. I think what that outcome of that game if they can get a win over the Cowboys, which I said the Cowboys are not traveling well. They're not playing offensively anyway. They're not playing well. So that's a big game for both teams. I think if the Cowboys win that, they all but lock that division up. That's done, I think. But if they lose, it opens the doors for everyone. So that's a huge one. I just say this might be really mean, and I'm sure he's a great guy, and this is just completely off the way he seems on TV. I can't stand Taylor Heineke. I cannot stand the guy. I've never seen a bloke so happy with himself. Did you see the throw? Like that game should have ended with a pick 6. He threw it straight to a defender, and the defender flat out dropped it. It was the defender was crying after the game because he was like, "I just cost it. Like that should have been a pick 6." Straight to him. So, and I know he didn't, and but he is not a good quarterback at all. He is not good. He is tinny. He throws things up and he gets lucky. But in terms of being a fundamental quarterback, he's not good. And normally what happens is that luck runs out. That stuff, it runs out, and it runs out in big moments. Now, he might get a win next week. He might get a win over the Eagles, and then they'll roll into the Giants and he'll throw 5 interceptions or something like that. That's what normally happens to those sorts of guys. But I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I don't think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's the future of that team at all. And they've kind of blown their chances of getting a quarterback now by their winning the games this year. But I'm not feeling him, and he just irritates me. Great story, undrafted guy, all that sort of stuff. Good on you. But so is Gardner Minshew, and he annoys the crap out of me too. So I'm sick of celebrating. Mediocrity because of wins. But American sports is very, and we talk about this with Super Bowls as well. Like they're very, if you win, you're good. They don't actually look at it and go, No, Taylor Heineke's they average 14 points a game over their 5-game winning streak. So what's changed is the defense, and that's very good. That's playing really, really well. That's what's changed. They stop the run really well. They run the ball really well, and they generate turnovers. That's what's changed over the last 5 or 6 games. Not Taylor Heineke's play, but he gets all the praise because they win. It's a very backwards way of looking at things. But anyway, that's my rant on Taylor Heineke over. Do you trust the Bengals, Rich?
No. You want my trust? If you want my trust, you got to beat the up and down yo-yo team that is the LA Chargers when you've got them at home.
I don't know. I reckon the Chargers are good. Do you know what? This is going to sound.
You know how I feel about the Cardinals. About the Chargers. I always like them. I like them every year. They fucking the biggest cock teasers in the league. But I just like you saw it today. They get up 24-0, give that lead up, and then just end up smashing them. Like it's just so frustrating.
Well, what happened was what turned the game. Bengals scored 22 unanswered points, and then Joe Mixon fumbled it, and they scored a touchdown off the fumble. It was a fumble recovery for a touchdown. That's what changed the game. I don't know what it is, Richie, but I trust the Bengals. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to.
Can I tell you why?
Because they are what they are.
No. It's not
You
that.
Tell me
it's
why.
way simpler than that. It's the quarterback. You look at Joe Burrow and go, that fucker's a winner.
I love him. You're right. That is
100%.
And you know what? I really like Joe Mixon too. I think he runs hard and he does things. His effort is always there. They just look like a team. You know those teams that you watch and they're just fun to watch because you can tell everyone gives a crap. There's no passengers. Everyone's really trying because they're not. You take their guys man for man. They are not exceptionally talented. Like their receiver group's good. Joe Mixon's good. I think Burrow's
O-line's
really
awful.
O-line's okay. It's got better though, and they try. Like they work hard. They're running downfield. They're making blocks downfield. They're getting out on screens. Like the little things are there. The effort's there. I think that's what I like about them. And I think I said, I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl. But in terms of do I trust them to go out on the town and have a good night and not cheat on me? Yeah, I do. I think they are exactly what they are. They're a good team that are fun and they're going to be in the playoffs. That's what I think. I trust them to do that. Do I trust them to win a Super Bowl? Not yet. But, when they drop 20 pounds in the off season, get a little bit hotter, then I'll trust them to win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? A few modeling contracts. Yeah, it's that sort of thing. When they come back all ripped from they go to Cali for the season, for the off season, get all ripped, come back shredded. Joe Burrows, he's put on 10 pounds of muscle, that sort of thing. That's what I'm in. But I'm on for what they are, and I'm enjoying them. I'm enjoying them being good for once. It's a nice turnaround.
Fair enough. You got the next one for me?
Yeah, this one's. I think I know what you're going to say. The Chiefs.
This is so hard. 4 weeks
it's hard
ago,
because they're good on defense now. They suck on offense.
Yeah. 4 weeks ago, I was like, there's something wrong there. I don't know what it is. Like, is there a rift in the locker room we don't know about? Has somebody dogged somebody else and there's a rift? And then they get good and you're like, oh, maybe they were just playing shit for a few weeks. And now they don't look good again. The offense isn't explosive at all.
It's everyone's playing too deep on them. And they just not adjust. They're not used to being like, we can't just eventually get over the top of them. They're not. Tyreek Hill's frustrated from getting 15-yard gains. He wants the 60-yarders. They're not getting it.
And it almost seems like they don't have the patience to meticulously go down the field.
Yeah, Mahomes won't take what he's given.
Which when you're used to not having to, I kind of get. But at the same time, well, I may have said what I said to you in a text message today. This team is not going to the Super Bowl.
No, I'm the same. Do you know what this team is? And I'll put it back to your bar analogy. This team was, 6 months ago, the hottest in the bar, the hottest guy going in the bar. Everyone wanted him. Yeah, they walked in and everyone flooded to him. And you know what? It got to their head and they thought, I don't have to try that hard. I'm the prettiest guy girl in the bar. I'm the best looking. I don't have to do anything. And then a couple of other young pucks came along and they're like, well, you know what? We're a bit better looking than you. We're going to try a bit harder than you now. We're going to start doing things that you used to do better than you. And that's what they're doing now. They're just fading back. They're fading back into the pack. And Mahomes all of a sudden isn't. And I think there's something going on with Mahomes outside of football. I don't think it's like he's getting divorced or he's got a kid on. I don't know, but he's got older. Maybe his off season he couldn't commit as much time as he used to. He's got a wife now. You don't know what's going on in their personal lives, and I think that's what it is. I think that's what the problem is now. I think there's something behind the line. This will be so that they'll have a down year and then they'll bounce back, and then next year you'll see them in the bar and they'll have some work done and they'll be ready to go. They'll be back. They'll be number one again. But I think this is their down year. I really do think so. I don't trust them.
The other analogy for them is the Barney Stinson cheerleader effect. When it's all going right and they're all done up and there's a big group of them, you're like, fuck me, that is a hot-looking group of people. But then when you really look at it, each individual part, it's not so hot.
No, it's not. Tyreek Hill's a piece of shit. Mahomes is no look like every now and again.
Hang on just one sec, right?
Throw it over. Can you just throw it properly and stop sidearming it?
If you're not going to throw shade at Mixon every time you bring him up, but you are going to do it to Hill, you got to stop. It's either you do it to both or you do it to neither. This is the problem, though. Mixon did one thing, and it was bad. It was real bad. He made one really dumb mistake in the heat of the moment, and it was awful. Hill's had a history of doing it. He's done it a few times. If everyone's wondering what we're talking about, I don't want to talk about it, so I'm not saying Just go look it up. Just go look it up.
Go Google it. Hill's had a history of it. That's why I think he's a bigger piece of shit. Mixon had a bad moment at a bad time, and he was once, and then he was like, shit, I'm an idiot. Hill kept going back. He kept going back to the well. He kept going back to the piece of shit well. He kept coming, then kids, and then not a good look. Anyway, you're right, though. There's little things that's like, Trevor, the other thing today, you watched that game today. They are calling penalties right for a defender looking at a player after he tackles them or something like that. Travis Kelce got up today on that first drive and two-hand shoved his defender as the defender was standing up to the ground for absolutely no reason. And the refs are just like, calm down, Travis. Travis, calm down. Where is the consistency in a rule? You can't look at a guy, but you can two-hand shove him to the ground after the play. All the Denver defenders were like, why is he allowed to do that? If I looked at him funny, we'd get fouled. And even the commentators were like, that seems a bit off. But we won't get into the refs this week because we'll get upset. Yeah, but instead, let's get into the Titans.
Well, no, let's not, because you skipped over one that I accidentally took out early. I want to ask you, because you ride and die with this team a little bit more because of your fantasy team. Do you trust the Ravens?
The answer to this is I don't trust anyone in the fucking AFC. I don't trust anyone, which then in turn makes me trust everyone because anyone can win it. They had, I think too much is being said about their loss to the Steelers. As we say all the time, division games, always challenging. They're always hard. Teams know you. They know how you play. The issue with the Ravens are defensively they're okay. They're very injured at cornerback now. Rumors are Marlon Humphrey's now going to be out for the season.
Well, that was the excuse
why he went for
going for it.
Yeah, he said he didn't have enough guys to play at corner. So he basically said if they get the ball back, they're going to score. I don't have enough corners to cover. I'm going to have to play an extra linebacker. They're going to. So that was his reasoning, which actually made more sense. When he explained it, I was like, okay, I actually believe that, and that makes sense. Still would have kicked the extra point and gone. I still would have lost in overtime with less corners, but anyway, that's just me. Ravens, I don't know. I don't trust them. I don't. I think it's so much pressures on Lamar, and if they don't run the ball exceptionally well, their offensive line, in particular the left side, since Ronnie Stanley got hurt, Villanueva is not a good left tackle. He struggles. The whole
JJ Watt ate them up today.
Yeah, killed them, and
he was awesome,
and he is very good, but. The Steelers as a whole are a strong front, but they struggle every week. Like they only run on the crap teams. So that's my concern. I'm big on the offensive line and they're one of the worst offensive lines in the league right now. So that's a worry. That's not their strength anymore. And then you're asking Lamar to make things happen and teams are working him out and they're saying, well, we can press you up the middle, seal the edge, and you're going to have to sit in the pocket and make throws. And you can sit back and be that guy that goes, Lamar's not a quarterback, he's a running back. You can be that douchebag if you want. He is what he is, and he's a fucking exceptional football player. And like every football player, when they're taken out of the way that every football player finds success in different ways, right? And when that's taken away from you and they take that away from you, that's beating someone. That's out coaching them. And that's what's happening at the moment. They're completely taking away his strengths and forcing him to situations that he's not as strong in, and he's struggling. Now, in saying that, he's half a yard off winning that football game today. And I can guarantee you no other quarterback in the league makes TJ Watt miss him in the hole like that. I don't think that play call was dreadful. TJ Watt read that like a book, and he still couldn't get Lamar Jackson. He had him.
It was amazing he even got that ball out.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. People going, that's the easiest throw you had all day. No, that was incredibly hard to throw across your body like that while making a guy miss, while he had to short arm it because he was worried TJ Watt was going to hit him from behind as he wound up. That was an incredibly hard throw, and it was that close to winning that. If they win that game, we're having a completely different conversation. But the answer is no, I don't trust them right now because they need to find a way to coach Lamar back into his strengths. And I think they can do it, but I just don't trust when they're going to do it or if it's going to be this season. And they're injured. They're banged up. They're really banged up. Like a lot of teams are, but they're as hurt as the Titans are.
They don't have it easy either. They got the Browns next week who need to keep winning, otherwise their playoff hopes are shot.
Division game as well.
Pardon me. Then they got the Packers. Then they got Cincinnati, who probably by then probably won't really matter. They got the Rams. Where is that game? If that's on the road, that's a bloody tough game. They got it at home. That's really lucky for them.
There's already 4 tough games, though. There's not an easy game in that stretch.
Yeah, not at all. So, when you look at that, and you just think about, with all the injuries they got too in their secondary, I mean, it's going to be tough sledding for them. I think they're a good enough team that they can get through it.
Yeah. I think they're solid, but we'll have to see what happens. This was a bad loss for them. They needed to win this game.
And this Browns game this week is at home. Is at Browns because the last one was at home when they beat them in that 16-10 beat 'em up game. Yeah, my concern for the Ravens, they haven't scored over 20 in like 4 weeks. Like, that's concerning. I know it's getting colder and everything, but you got to find some more points, guys.
Yeah, I agree. And to answer the question, no, I don't trust them right now. But for Super Bowl winning, I don't really trust anyone in the AFC right now.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. Last one. I think we're both going to know. I think we're both going to have the same answer to this. The Titans.
Definitely not.
Healthy, I trust them. If they're healthy, if they've got Derrick Henry. Like, Derrick Henry is still second in the league in rushing yards.
Yeah,
he hasn't played for 5 games. Like, fuck me. Like, honestly, let that sink in. 5 games and only Taylor's overtaken him. Like, and he's having a historical season. It's unbelievable. But yeah, if they were healthy, I trust them. I don't right now.
Here's the thing for the Titans. I trust them to make the playoffs, and here's why. Next week, they got the Jags. Then they got the Steelers. Then they got the 49ers. Is that at home or away? If that's at home, I'll be stoked for them. Nissan Stadium at home. So, and then they got the Dolphins, and they finish with the Texans. You can pencil in 3 out of 5 wins, and then that will take, their record from 8-4, 8, 9, 10. It'll be at least 11 wins, and there's probably the division. So, they're good enough to beat those teams, more than good enough to beat those teams. Do I trust them in a Super Bowl? Probably not. Someone in the AFC has to get there.
They will get Derrick Henry back for the playoffs. That's what they're saying. He will be back this season.
Well, if they're going to get him back, then I probably do trust them come playoffs because they've got enough crummy teams left on their schedule to get them over the line. Because as we always talk about, JA, those current wins are already in the bank. They're already in the bank.
Yeah.
And they can't take them off you. They're not chasing their tails. They're not. No. They're not going to. At worst, they'll be a playoff team already with 8 wins. So, they're gonna make the playoffs.
And they're gonna get Henry back. Yeah,
I mean, I think if we go back to our earliest analogy, this is a relationship. We've just had a rocky month. You're gonna work it out. You're probably right. You're probably right for each other. You're gonna work it out.
Derrick Henry his injury timeline was 6 to 10 weeks. He hasn't played for 5. He's going to be back for playoffs. There's no setback. How many setbacks do you get in NFL medicine these days? How many setbacks do you get that a cortisone needle can't fix? You know what I mean? I think we'll see him this year. I'd be shocked if he doesn't play this year. So that's it though. Before we get over to Forkham, actually, I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Why the fuck is Adrian Peterson playing for the Seattle Seahawks? What honest benefit does having Adrian Peterson on your I watched him. He scored a touchdown today on a run that, honestly, Richie, you know I don't say this lightly.
You're going to say you could have scored.
No one hit him. He didn't get touched. He ran to the edge. He could have ran 40 yards before someone touched him. So I would have scored on it. You would have scored on it. Anyone would have scored on it. And then they ran him 4 times or 3 times in the goal line again, and he got smashed on every single one. Could not break a tackle. Didn't have any power to go over the top of a guy to get an extra yard. I just don't fucking get it. There are so many running backs that you can go and sign. Like Alfred Morris is better than Adrian Peterson at this point in their career. And I love Adrian Peterson, and I'm all about it. He's a Hall of Famer, first ballot, one of the best running backs, probably the best running back I've ever watched over like his whole career. You know, I didn't watch Emmitt Smith and Bo Jackson, those sorts of. I didn't watch them. So Adrian Peterson's a superstar, but he's done. His career is over, and there's no point having him on your roster.
Didn't that touchdown he scored today, didn't that tie somebody?
Who knows?
I think he tied the running back from the Browns.
Jim Brown?
I think he tied him. I'm sure I heard them say
120th career rushing touchdown. He now has 125 touchdowns. Adrian Peterson becomes a 12th player with 125 touchdowns. So that's all it says. Thanks.
Doesn't say the commentators were going on about him tying somebody today.
Tying Jim Brown's record. Adrian Peterson gets his 126 touchdown tying Jim Brown. That's how little I cared about it. And I probably was listening to them when they said it. I couldn't have given 2 shits. I just cannot believe he's on a roster. It's done. Move on.
I mean, he has so many kids. He needs the money. Clearly. Like I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be funny in any way. I'm just trying to be serious. He still thinks he can go. He needs the money. And if an NFL team is going to give it to him,
take it.
Take it. If an NFL, seriously, if the NFL called me and said, hey, we need to come be camp fodder so JJ Watt can smack the shit out of somebody, I'd be like, cool, what's it pay? 300,000 minimum contract? Yeah, cool. Let's go.
Sign me up.
I don't care if I'm shit ass. Give me
my money. We would die to JJ Watt. That's the only problem. It would be signing. You'd be signing your death insurance for your family. That's what it'd be.
All the kids listening at home, I'm going to give you advice for life right here. If you ever get the opportunity to take a job that you're completely unqualified for, don't think you're going to be good at,
take it.
Anything like that, if they're paying you a lot of money,
take it.
You fucking take it. Because it will take at least 6 months for them to can your ass, maybe longer. Because first off, it'll take them 3 months to work out you suck. Then they're too embarrassed about their decision to hire you. They're going to try and fix you for 3 more months.
Yep, there'll be performance plans going fucking everywhere.
Exactly.
HR meeting. Bring your family members. If you're worried, get after
it. If it's a big enough company, they will outline what you have to do then to succeed. So they're giving you the recipe to get good at your own job that you're not qualified for.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't work out, just take a step back. You'll learn a shitload, and you're paid well.
I can tell you, Richie, that you gave me this advice, and I took it, and it worked out for me. It's worked out now. The first couple didn't, but this one is. This one, you get there eventually. Just keep trying. You always fucking take it. Always do an Adrian Peterson. But more importantly, why the fuck's he in the league? Get rid of him. From the Seattle point of view, why the hell is he on your roster? There's no benefit to it whatsoever. Give it to Travis fucking Homer. Like, seriously. Get us into Forkham. Who you forking, Rich?
Hang on. Let's review for the people. So, JA, you forked the Lions, Washington, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Panthers. I have forked the Texans, the Giants, the Jags, and the Bears.
You've gone right out on a limb with your forkings, Rich, haven't you?
That's the whole point, you idiot.
No, it's about being ballsy. It's about having the balls to go after people. Now, Washington's probably going to backfire on me. It's probably going to really backfire on me. But that's all right. I can live with that. I can look at myself in the mirror. You know, it's not nice, but I can do it.
I'm trying to find myself.
Can I give you mine? Because I don't reckon you'll pick the one I'm doing.
All right, if you know it, go.
I've got one. You do not, in your division, get down 22-0 to a team that hasn't won a game all year, come back, take the lead, then allow Jared Goff to drive the field and throw a touchdown as time expires, mind you. All you had to do was secure the end zone. That's all you had to do for one play. And you let Amon-Ra St. Brown get a touchdown pass thrown to him by the great Jared Goff to lose and give them their first win of the season, which made everyone happy except for you. The Minnesota Vikings are that fucking forked. It's not funny. You do not come back from what happened to them today. They're also 5-7, so they don't have a great record. They're now two games out of the playoffs. Give me the Vikings. They are gone. Thank you. See you later. Enjoy 2022. Start prepping, or whoever your replacement is. You're all gone.
Yes, very true. Okay, I've had a bit to think about it. I think I have to fork the Falcons after seeing them today.
Yeah, they're bad.
Poor old Matt Ryan.
I feel sorry for that dude.
He's still a very competent quarterback. He still throws a really good football when he's got some time, and he's obviously has great football knowledge. He is not any part of the problem. Tampa's defense today beat up that O-line. Like, Vea was going through there like there was literally nobody there on a couple of plays. On his sack where he came clean up the middle, I'm not sure who was meant to block him. It was that bad. So there's so many pieces away, but I think we might have talked about in the offseason, they don't need a quarterback yet. And I know they've spent a ton of capital on the O&D line, but
trade Matty Ryan.
Sorry, guys, you're going to have to keep putting capital in there because
I'm going to trade Matt Ryan. I'm going to start hashtag free Matt Ryan, free Matty Ice. I'm going to start. Send Matty Ice to Denver for his twilight years. That'd be great. That'd be great for Denver. You get a veteran QB. Maybe you draft a young guy in the late first or second round, something like that, and you bring him through.
But yeah, they're not very good. I could have forked the Saints, but I might wait a week.
Yeah, I think I think they're two good forkings. I can't. Is there anyone with a worse winning record than those two now? Like, I forked the Panthers, haven't I?
Yep.
Yeah, I did the Panthers.
Yeah, we're forking five. Yeah, we're forking five win teams.
Do you know what's scary? Say you do the Saints.
They can all still make it.
Yeah. So say you fork the Saints next week. You're then getting into the territory of Denver Broncos, LA Raiders, Miami Dolphins, Eagles, Pittsburgh Steelers, 49ers. We're getting into playoff teams right now.
Mm-hmm.
Have we gone too early, or is it just that there's just that many teams still in the running? Because how many we forked 10. So there's 6 more teams to fork. Yeah, we might have to go to 1 a week for the next few weeks. We'll work it out. We'll do it. Yeah, we'll do the quick math. Let's get over to the Monday night game, which is it's a ripper.
Can't wait.
Buffalo. I actually will struggle to watch this tomorrow, believe it or not, and I'm flat about it because this is going to be maybe the best game of the year.
Yeah, I've personally moved 2 meetings, so I can at least have this one in the background.
I like it. I like that a lot.
This is, this is the kind of game that you get excited for. These regular season games where you got 2 good teams within a division.
Yep.
Yeah, this sort of stuff is going to set them up. So I'm super, super keen for this. I don't have a particular take on what way it's going to go, but I do think it's going to shape up the AFC moving forward.
Agreed. This is going to be. I can't tell you who's going to win this. Buffalo aren't traveling that well, but they're still really good, and they're at home. They've played already, haven't they? Buffalo beat Patriots earlier in the year. I'm pretty sure it was like the first few weeks.
Give me a sec. I'll find it.
I can definitely find it. I go to my playoff prediction. Come on, load. I thought it was like week 4 they played. Bills played.
No, they play each other. No, they don't. They play each other 2 times in the next 3 weeks.
Yep, there you go. This is the first meeting.
First meeting.
Oh, this is gonna be really fun. This is a great game. Who are you taking? I'm gonna take Buffalo. I think only because it's at home.
I don't think it matters. They're gonna split. They play each other so close together, they're going to split. So which wins which one, I don't know. But they're going to go 1-1 there. The Patriots have also got the Jags, the Dolphins, and the Colts left on their schedule.
Colts are good. I like Colts.
I'm not saying they're bad, but there's certainly 2 very winnable games. They'll split the Bills, go 1-1. And they're a game up right now on the Bills.
I want to know.
Whereas the Bills, hang on in one sec,
There
the
you go.
Bills have still got they've got the Bucks next week.
Tough.
They obviously got to play the Patriots again. They do have a game in hand. They got the Panthers, which should be an easy win. They got the Falcons, which should be an easy win. They've also got the Jets. That'll be an easy win. So
Be a
if
tight
either one of
division.
these two teams can sweep the other,
Yeah,
they're
gonna get it.
home. They're home
This is
and
the thing as
home.
well. Like this will be like this could be the old story where if they split, where the team that wins the division is the number 1 seed, and the team that loses the division is the 5th seed, but has the second best record in the league. Like it could literally be like that.
Potentially.
They're both very good. I think we'll see these two play in the playoffs, which would be pretty cool. Buffalo playing the Patriots in the playoffs. Who would have thought we'd seen that in the recent future? But yeah, it's good. I'm going to take Buffalo because it's at home, but I'm with you. I think they split. I'm just hoping for a really good game, really good close game, and I want to see Josh Allen at his best against a really good defense. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see this. Just a fun fact. So the Colts beat the Texans today, but do you know what they lost today? First round pick.
Oh, because of
Wentz hit his
the amount of
75%.
snaps that Wentz played.
Which,
look,
good on the Colts because they're still in it. So they're like, you know what? Stuff it. I think if they'd lost the last 3 games, they probably would have put him on ice. But they were like, well, you know what? We traded for him. We put
winning.
Hit them.
Winning is way more important.
Agreed. And he has been nowhere. Any of their losses, he is not their problem. I'm actually, if this was like what you predicted, if this is what you predicted for him to do, Carson Wentz, you should be happy because he's looked way better than he has at the Eagles the last couple of years. He looks like more like the guy he was that 1 year than he is the guy the last couple of years. So I'm with Wentz. I think he's been a lot better. It's amazing when he's not wearing an Eagles uniform how I like him. But I think the Colts have got a few. I think the Colts got some guys. I think they've got a future.
He's clearly very comfortable in that system, following. I've gone blank on his name.
Reich.
Yeah, following Reich, has really paid off for him. He clearly, when he got there, he would have known all the verbiage. Like coaches, they don't change that shit. What their system is, what their system is. Whatever verbiage they use, if they're a West Coast or an air raid or a spread, whatever.
Yep.
He would have known every bit of it the second he got there. A couple of tweaks here and there, I'm sure. And away he went. So he probably feels super comfortable in the system. You know, it's like pulling on the old comfy pair of tracky dacks. And yeah, I'm really happy for him. Good on the Eagles for turning assets, I guess, for short of a better word, into good picks. Like they're going to have a lot of first-round picks this year.
Well, they have 4 first-round picks now.
I think they got 3. They were already counting that Colts one.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they got 3. One of them is obviously that Colts one is dropping. Like for a while there, it was going to be a top 10, but now it's obviously not. But 3 first-round picks. They think they've found their quarterback of the future. So now you're just really securing, you know, you can just pick the best player.
And the other good thing is,
pick you've got.
It's kind of worked out for Carson Wentz is only 28. I mean, people forget he's still quite young. It's not like he's 35. Like he's 28 years old. So he's got plenty of football left in him. So I think it's great. I think the Colts can feel comfortable rolling into next season that he's only going to get better. He's probably going to be a bit more comfortable, a bit healthier. They can add some more players around him to help. And I think the Colts have got they've found a quarterback. They don't have to go into a draft going, we need to find a quarterback, you know, or we need to sign Phillip Rivers in the offseason, that sort of thing. So I think they've done a good job.
Quite frankly, people want to go into next season needing a quarterback at the draft because they're nowhere near as highly rated as the 5 that came out last year.
You know, one guy will shoot up the board in the off season when they call, this guy, you look at him at the senior day, he looks so good. There'll be someone who ends up going in the top 5. There always is, but yeah, this is a good draft and not need a quarterback, which there's not. Honestly, you look at all the teams. There's not a ton of teams that are desperate for a quarterback. Like even Denver, for example. Like Teddy Bridgewater's fine. Like he's not terrible. You know, Kirk Cousins, those sorts of guys. There's nothing wrong with them. Like there's no real desperate need yet for many teams. Texans are probably the only one.
Yeah, and look, there's some guys out there like Matt Corral at Mississippi. He's certainly out there. The Wake Forest QB, I'm going blank. It'll come to me. Sam Hartman. You know, he's there. There's a kid at Pitt, Kenny Pickett. You know, they're probably the three that people are talking about most. There's also a kid at Liberty, of all places. Shit, I can't think of his name. But he's being talked about as well. So look,
There are
there's
some
guys out there. There's guys out there, but yeah, there'll be some good value in the second round, as there always is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's it, Rich. That brings us to the end. Want to thank all our sponsors: Burnley Brewing, Dark Horse Electrics, US Sports Gear, our friend at J and D's Down Under Brakes. If you're in the Patreon, congratulations to Junior and Paul, who are 1 and 2. I'll get in contact with you. See whoever wants that Marshall Fork helmet. I find it hard to believe Junior's going to pass up the Marshall Fork helmet, to be honest with you, Paul.
I'd want it.
You never know. And then this is next month, this JJ Watt absolute beauty chrome Texans helmet. Richie, you were asking before, like, is there less value in a helmet from where your team doesn't play anymore? The JJ Watt Texans gear is more valuable than his Cardinals or whatever other team he plays for, if he plays for anyone else after the Cardinals. So when they've had a legacy at a team, one defensive player of the year, that sort of stuff, their value is always there. So yeah, certainly don't think because it's not his current team that it's a bad one. You know, if you had an Eric Ebron signed Colts helmet, like some morons like me, that's not as valuable because he only played for 1 year at the Colts. But a guy like JJ Watt has good value for the Texans. But that's it for the show. Richie, thank you as always, mate, and I'll see you next week.
No worries, mate. Happy birthday.